This man invented the terms pedophilia, hebephilia.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Nazis are pretty f***ing gay.
Yeah.
Lady in the Trans podcast. Where we believe in science. We don't believe in God. Only science. Science will solve all the problems. That's the trans agenda.
Those trans people in science gonna save the day.
Solve the problems with us. With science. Science, bitch.
Science and my trans agenda, I'm returning trans.
Hello and welcome
Welcome.
back to Lady in the Trans podcast. I am a lady named Chloe,
And I'm a lady named Laura.
and we are here to finish up what we said we were going to do last time and tell you about words. The craziest one by far is the Autogynephilia, which is where we end, but also there's plenty of good stuff on the way, so don't just skip to that. But also, if you do, come back and watch the rest of them. There's some interesting stuff that you might not know about unless you already know everything because you're a genius. But
Yes,
we would love if
Know it all.
geniuses are watching our show.
we would love that.
And now we are about to change our clothes.
Boom, magic.
And so not only are we going to talk about what the words mean, we are also going to talk about where they came from, who invented them, why they were invented. We're going to do a little etymology, and you're going to be like, what? I know everything about being trans now.
Yeah, and hopefully people will have conversations that are less confusing for both parties after this episode.
So just to lay it out, the words that we will be talking about. The difference between transsexual, transvestite, transgender, crossdresser, and drag. People get those things confused all of the time. We will also talk about the difference between gender identity and gender expression within that same little section. We will also then talk about gender-affirming surgery, HRT, blockers, FFS, FMS, gender dysphoria, and I think we're going to wrap it all up with something that may end up turning into its own episode one day, Autogynephilia.
I feel like we might have to do a whole separate thing.
That opened up such a can
Yeah.
of worms for me when because I was like, I know this little bit of shit, and I know it's some bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And then just scratching the
There
surface
was much
of
more
the little
bullshit.
bit of bullshit.
There was a
I
lot of
was like,
bullshit.
holy fucking shit. This is a lot of bullshit.
It's a lot of bullshit. And it's insane.
Turtles all the way down. That's what I'm saying. Without further ado, would you like to do this episode?
Yes, we shall.
Fantastic. So, are you ready to learn about the difference between a transsexual, a transvestite, a crossdresser, and drag?
Yes.
Great.
Shiver me genders. Sorry.
Okay. So I think it is worth mentioning, just to start out with, the difference between gender identity and gender expression,
Yes. Okay.
because gender expression is how one presents or performs gender.
Yes.
Gender identity is the gender you feel that you are inside.
Yes.
Those things can match or not match in any combination of ways. Someone can have a female gender identity and a male gender expression and still be like, I'm a woman, I just like dressing this way. Someone can have a female identity and a female expression. Someone can, largely they do tend to align. I feel like a gender fuck person would be like, nah,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
That's a new one that I learned, and I love it.
I felt like that would be your vibe.
It's kind of, yeah. I like to shake shit up. I like to piss people off.
Gender as weaponry.
Yes. So an example of the difference between identity and expression would be like, for like all of the people that are just like learning about trans people as a whole, a cisgender lesbian who presents very masculine, but they identify as a woman, binary woman, but
Yes.
they dress, talk, express themselves as a man.
Their
That would be,
gender identity is female. Their gender expression is male.
or like, a feminine man, muscles and all, but like loves to put on glittery makeup.
Exactly. So the first of these words to come about was transvestite.
Yes.
That word was coined by a man named Magnus Hirschfeld
What a name.
in 1910.
That sounds like a 1910 name.
Magnus Hirschfeld is the German physician, sexologist, and LGBTQ advocate who founded the first transgender health clinic in Germany that was burned down by the Nazis. I don't know the exact order of which of these things happened first. They burned down the health clinic and revoked Hirschfeld of his German citizenship in one order or another. I don't know which happened
It is
first.
insane how we're repeating it, but in a more modern way. Like everything.
Basically exactly 100 years later.
Yeah. We're literally reliving a modern version of this, and it's just like all of the shit left over that we didn't clean up after Nazi Germany.
Literally.
But-
and the Confederacy.
Yeah.
Because Nazi Germany was inspired by the Confederacy. They watched the Confederacy and they were like, oh, we could do that.
Yeah.
But also, they went a little too hard. Let's tone it back a little. Like, Nazis were a toned down version of the Confederacy.
Well, the Confederacy is insane.
I know. They did 250 years of fucking slave trading, and it was
Yeah.
the darkest shit that's ever happened, except for maybe the massacre of the
We
indigenous
tortured
Americans.
and raped people and treated them like cattle. We freaking
Yes.
they were eating people.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, sorry.
That's a whole rabbit hole. We would be here for another 45 hours.
We won't go down that rabbit hole
talking
right
about
now.
that. That's some dark shit.
It's just insane. It's insane how much shit was erased in history about queer people
Yes.
from that time.
Yeah, this dude was doing all the pioneering research.
And it all got we had to start it all over, and they're trying to tear it down again.
Yeah, and he was just trying to rebuild the knowledge base from what had already been destroyed by the Christians who were deleting all of this knowledge from the indigenous communities that they had colonized. Like, this knowledge keeps coming back and getting erased, and coming back and getting erased, and coming back and getting erased. It's just a repeating cycle, and it's so frustrating. So, all knowledge of trans people is deleted by Christians, right? Magnus Hirschfeld starts researching it again because it seems to be coming back.
Yeah.
All these people. So he coins the term transvestite. But the practice is essentially just cross-dressing.
Yeah.
He hasn't talked to anyone about like gender identity or any feelings of like being, none of that. He just like notices that this is a thing that's happening and decides to call people transvestites. Despite the fact that cross-dressing as a cultural practice is about as old as we have stories. Like, you can go back to the very beginning of storytelling, like like Mulan. Shakespeare was doing it all the time. The story of Joan of Arc, like a famous Catholic hero,
Yeah.
was pretending to be a man so she could go to war. Like, come on.
That was a common thing throughout history for like women's history specifically, even for women that don't identify
Yeah.
that way. It was safer to be perceived as more masculine.
Yeah.
I did that in college. I cut my hair off and stopped wearing makeup and started wearing men's clothing
Yeah,
to
if you're gonna
college so I
exist in
wouldn't get sexually
patriarchy,
harassed.
Yeah. Very quickly after he created this word, transvestite became very popular among common people as a slur. He eventually, in 1923, which is 13 years later, coins the term transsexual because he has started talking to these people more and getting to know them and realizing that some of these people want to change their sex. They want to have surgery. They want to go through a process. They actually feel that they are a different gender than they were assigned. But all of these words existed in German before they existed in English. Technically, the German word was transsexualismus,
Okay.
and that eventually became transsexual in 1949, introduced by a man named David Oliver Caldwell. At the time, understanding was extremely limited. People didn't know the difference between sex and gender, so the term transsexual meant someone whose, quote, physical sex and psychological sex did not match. Eventually, the term changed again to exclusively apply to people who wanted bottom surgery, and there are still some people today who use the word basically to say like, well, I'm transsexual, I'm not transgender,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But largely that term has come out of the fact that from the 1950s to the 1980s, only transsexuals were allowed medical care, and transgender people were forbidden medical care.
Okay.
So a lot of these people who wanted health care had to prove that they were transsexual and not transgender. And some of those people are still alive.
Yeah, so I follow some older trans people on TikTok, and a lot of them refer to themselves as transsexual, and the way they explain it is, back then that's what we were, because it meant that passing was survival. If you didn't pass back then, you were going to lose your life.
Correct.
So they went through and got, the whole everything.
Yeah.
So they could live their life. It's like, I'm sure it's something they wanted. Like, all of them say, I would never regret any of my surgeries. I'm glad I got it done. But also, like, if you weren't going to go all the way back then and you couldn't pull off passing, you were not going to be able to live a long life, which is very sad. But a lot of them use that label as like, this is what I am, because back then this is what you...
Because they had to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you'll still see people saying it online, but like largely that rigidity of the terminology is dying, and transsexual is going out of fashion.
Yeah.
As like generally a slur.
Yeah.
As is transvestite. But you'll still also find some people who are like, no, I'm a transvestite, especially people who don't feel like their gender identity is different from their assigned one. They just like to wear the clothes.
Yeah.
People are just cross-dressers.
Which is crazy because, like, AFAB people, like, if you're a cis woman and you want to dress as a man, no one really bats an eye. I feel like transvestite specifically applies to men that want to dress feminine in women's clothing.
Yeah,
and we make it its whole separate...
Yeah, it's just a way to police.
Because we have this viewpoint that the worst thing you could want to be is feminine, especially as a man. It's an entire cultural thing.
You speak the true. So then, the other term would be a drag performer.
Yes.
Drag is different from cross-dressing.
Yes.
Drag is an extreme, over-the-top performance of gender. Cross-dressing can be something someone does casually.
Yeah.
You can just kind of throw on a dress and go to the store. You can just wear a nightgown, whatever. You can just do it. That is not drag.
Drag is exaggerated makeup, hair, outfits. Like, drag kings will wear like a binder and then maybe a vest to make it look like they don't have boobs. And drag queens will put on like rubber boobs and like it is
often an over exaggeration of gender stereotypes.
Yes.
For the purposes of entertainment.
Yes.
There are also no gender rules regarding drag. It used to be stricter, but nowadays, like, a man can be a drag king, a woman can be a drag queen.
Yeah.
Like, usually you think of it as a cross-dressing experience, but it doesn't have to be.
It's just exaggerated gender.
It just has to be exaggerated and for entertainment.
Yes.
That's literally it. Yeah, that's basically the difference between all those different... I covered all of them.
Yep.
For these next couple, I don't really have research. I just wanted to define these terms.
Okay.
We're going to come back to autogynephilia. We're going to do that one last. Just know that that's coming, and it's a fucking rabbit hole. All right?
Yeah.
Gender-affirming surgery. I feel like you know what that is.
It is a surgery that a person would get so they can better align with their gender that they identify as. So I wanted to say this. There's a girl
This is what I was hoping you would say.
Hey. I'm trying not to like over talk, but like I have,
No.
A lot of my content on TikTok is
we're conversing,
I know. I just felt that I was yapping too much at the beginning. There is a girl I'm mutuals with on TikTok. We're going to tag her, Avatar Brandy. I love her. She's great. She made a video one time that like put FFS, for example, into perspective for me. And she described FFS as a reconstructive surgery.
Okay.
That is undoing the masculinization done to her body that she did not want.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is because words matter. Language and words matter. Because a lot of people argue that these are cosmetic surgeries that are just elective surgeries. And I'm like, this isn't somebody just like going and getting lip filler because they felt like, you know what I mean? Like, this is a person who they went through a puberty they did not want to have.
Yeah.
It would be the same if a cis person, like if a cis girl got injected with testosterone every day for like a couple of years against their will and then had to go and like get medical help to reverse that. It would be a reconstructive surgery. Same thing if a cis man got injected with estrogen.
Yeah.
There would be certain things that needed to be reversed, medically speaking, you know?
Yes. But that's also not the point I thought you were going to make.
Oh, what was the point you thought I was going to make?
Gender affirming surgery is not only had by trans people.
Oh, no. Not at all.
Yeah. Cis people get gender affirming
Titty
surgery
jobs?
all the time. A titty job for a woman is gender affirming surgery.
Yes.
A leg lengthening surgery for a man is gender affirming surgery.
Yes.
One of the most common, in fact,
All those motherfuckers flying to Turkey to get their hairline fixed. That's gender affirming.
that's gender affirming. The most common gender affirming surgery that is done on minors. Something like 90+% of gender affirming surgery
done on cis
done
kids, I
on
bet.
minors is done on cis boys who want breast reductions.
That
The
surprises me.
single most common gender affirming surgery is breast reductions
For
on
cis boys?
Yes, teenage boys who have too much breast tissue that they don't want and they want it removed. It's the single most common gender affirming surgery. And when people are talking about
no one talks about
no,
that.
people are saying oh, they're transitioning their gender. All the kids are having these trans surgeries and having these irreversible things done to them. It's mostly cis people.
Yeah, so this is one thing I want to say too. I feel like when I was growing up, you would see celebrities and they would have certain looks to them and you would compare I would look at certain like Avril Lavigne or whoever. You look at certain celebrities and you're like, fuck, I wish I looked like them. And then you grow up and you realize, oh, they have the money for cosmetic procedures that I don't have. It could be as simple as some skincare thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're living now in a culture where because plastic surgery is more attainable for the working class and poor. It used to be a thing you had to be a millionaire to get a plastic surgeon. But it's more accessible to people, so we talk about it more. It's more of a thing people are open about. It's not as men aren't as open about it. Men will get a bunch of procedures and then act like they didn't get them.
Yep.
But we
That's
have
true
this
too.
obsession with everything has to be natural. Your natural state and the way God made you. And I don't think that's a healthy thing. It is okay to want to change certain things within reason.
Yeah. Why
There,
not?
There's lots of people that get addicted to plastic surgery and go a little too crazy with it. But
It's
also
the same argument against getting a tattoo.
yeah.
Why not?
My mom used to be, you had such nice skin. I liked the skin that you had, natural skin.
You got the same skin. What's wrong with your skin?
Yeah, literally. It's just got cool shit on it now.
Yeah.
What? Who
Yeah,
cares?
it changed the color.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I've also noticed because I work at the Midnight Ballet, I'll have customers because I don't have my body done or anything like that. And I'll have customers praise me about that. And I'm like, what difference would I make if you couldn't tell my boobs were fake and I'm telling you they're real? What difference does that make to you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if you did get some work done, those same people would probably be like, I like the work you got done.
That's the funny-
they
that same
literally
guy-
would say fucking anything.
I'll listen to guys at the bar talk shit about the girls with plastic surgery and then take the girl with the BBL and the fucking titty job to VIP for 3 hours. And I'm like, okay, you hate plastic surgery, you like it natural, but you're spending your
Yeah.
money on the bitch that has 50 grand in her body.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep.
But we have this obsession with the way, I think it comes from Christian beliefs and the bullshit of
It does.
God made you
Yeah.
in his image, so you're and it's what if a baby born with a cleft lip? We fix that.
Yeah.
What if we were telling somebody born with that, oh no, don't fix your baby because God made it perfect?
Yeah.
Sometimes obviously you
some
don't operate
things-
on babies.
Sometimes you do things to make your life easier. Sometimes you do things to make yourself feel better. Sometimes you do things. There's a lot of reasons people do a lot of things, and it's not anyone else's fucking business.
Exactly.
And
it's
gender
not a
affirming
bad
surgery
thing.
is happened all the time by cis people. You get a facelift, you get a hair transplant, you get fucking anything.
Look at Trump's cabinet currently.
Literally.
They're full of fillers. The
and
men,
they
the
will
women.
argue till the cows come home that is not gender affirming surgery.
It
and if
fucking
you
is.
ask them why they did it, they'll be like, "Well, I wanted to look more like a woman." That's
I don't know.
what
Marjorie
the
Taylor
fuck
Greene
gender-
doesn't look more like a woman. She looks more like a moose now or something, or a
Marjorie
lion.
Taylor Greene looks like a Neanderthal. I don't know.
She does. That's what it is.
She just
She looks like
a Neanderthal.
our early humans, but
Yeah.
That's besides the point. If she wants to look like that, fucking fine. But like, I think unless somebody
If I looked like a Neanderthal, I would want gender-affirming surgery too.
I think when you're like a delusional person, like conservatives are, you get bad plastic surgery because you don't know what's real and you don't know what you look like.
They do all have some form of dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Which is different from dysphoria, which is another term that we're going to talk about.
Cool.
Gender dysphoria
Break it down.
A deep sadness or discomfort experienced when one's gender is thought about, mentioned, performed, or enforced. It happens when it doesn't align with how you truly feel. Cis people can have it too sometimes. You know?
Interesting.
You can experience gender dysphoria. The difference with trans people is that it is a pervasive, constant, disruptive form of dysphoria.
Well, yeah, because if you want to be the opposite gender that you've been assigned, you're going to be a lot more distressed about it.
If people are constantly mentioning, oh, wow, you look like a boy. Like, I hate that. I don't know why, but I hate that. You know? Like,
if someone hemmed me all day, I'd be like, what the fuck? I just waxed my mustache. What do you mean? Like, you know what I mean? That would stress me out.
Cis people can experience gender dysphoria.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a girl and you know you're a girl and somebody mentions something that you think is masculine about yourself, that's gender dysphoria.
Oh, that checks out.
You know?
That checks out. It's like a mild form of it. Yeah. This is a good talking point I'm going to use when I argue with transphobic people.
It's just a feeling.
I remember I was talking to this dude when I was like maybe 19 or 20 with like a couple of my friends, and like the dude who was talking to us, we didn't know him. You know how my voice fluctuates? Like I could have a higher pitched voice or a lower pitched voice just depending on the day and whatever.
I've experienced this.
I was speaking with my very low bro voice, and this guy started like, oh yeah, like mocking my voice. And thankfully the like friends I was with were like on my side and were like, are you like making fun of her right now? And he kind of got all like weird. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? It's not my fault that, like, it sounds like my balls drop fucking lower than yours. Like, fuck you. But it did make me feel bad because I'm like,
that was gender dysphoria.
He was insinuating that I sounded like a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
And there's like a part of me that sometimes does, and that's okay. But I wasn't like going for that. And it was like, it made me feel really uncomfortable.
The difference with trans people is when it happens.
Yeah.
It happens with a trans girl when people point out, oh, you look really boyish today. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas if you were actually a cis boy, that would make you feel good.
Yeah.
And saying, oh, you're acting like a little girl would make him feel bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just, when does it happen?
Yeah.
But everyone experiences it.
I hadn't thought of that before, but you are correct. And that is a thing I'm going to throw out at people so they can understand.
Yeah. Imagine if you felt that all the time.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
If we didn't place rules on people either, like people would be able to explore and be themselves. No one would bat an eye about it.
Yeah.
And then if they needed some sort of like medical care with it, like that would become apparent when they started going through puberty, and it would like make things a lot less complicated for everyone involved because it's like, well, this makes sense because this, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
If we didn't try to police people, it would be easier for people to figure shit out.
But that's not the world we live in.
That is not.
Puberty blockers. We've talked about this before.
Oh, yes.
One might as well put it into the explainer episode. Puberty blockers is not transitioning.
No.
Puberty blockers is not irreversible.
Exactly.
Puberty blockers is not a lot of the bullshit you've been sold on your social media.
I've made so many TikToks about this subject.
Yeah. So we're just reiterating. But some people, maybe this is the first time they're ever experiencing us. Puberty blockers do one thing. They block puberty. They prevent it from starting. They were
cis children also get puberty blockers.
They were invented for cis children. Mm-hmm. They were invented before people knew trans people existed.
They were given to cis children before trans children.
They were given to cis children before they knew trans children existed.
No one's trying to take them away from the cis kids.
They were invented for the purpose of blocking precocious puberty.
Yes.
Which is a type of puberty that starts occurring way too soon.
Early.
Yes. Like in a 6-year-old girl.
Yes.
If it's happening before it's supposed to, they'll put you on blockers. Mm-hmm. And then when it's time for puberty to start, they'll take you off the blockers.
And you just resume
and
your
just
puberty.
Goes back to normal.
And it's fine.
Correct.
The only time they would take you off early, because people love to argue, well, it can affect your bone density. Yes, but if you've waited a little too long and that's starting to affect it, if you take that kid off of puberty blockers within 6 months, their bone density goes right
to normal.
Yes.
Yeah. The only reason it would affect your bone density is if you're growing, if you're going through growth spurts.
Yes.
Because you need hormones to like fill in.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, if you're going through growth spurts and you're on blockers, they're going to take you off the blockers for a minute so your bones could fill back in, and then maybe they'll put you back on the block. It's between the doctor and the patient. The doctors are smart, right?
Yeah. They could figure it out.
Trust the doctors.
That is the problem. That's why we're where we are.
Yeah.
We have been, they've fed us propaganda to mistrust experts.
Yes, they did. A lot of people go on blockers. Not all of them are trans, and banning them hurts all children.
Yes.
HRT, hormone replacement therapy. That is when you are given hormones, usually after going off of blockers, so that you start puberty.
Yes.
It's called HRT, hormone replacement therapy, because usually it is the opposite hormone than your body would have normally produced.
Yes.
Sometimes it's both hormones, just in a different concoction.
Yeah.
Ratio is the right word, than your body would have normally produced.
Yes.
It's literally just replacing what your body would naturally have done with a balance that makes you feel right.
Also, I want to point out, cis people sometimes go on HRT as well.
Cis people constantly go on HRT.
Yeah.
The
Women
amount,
going through menopause, men losing testosterone as they age.
The amount of cis dudes who are on testosterone right now is crazy. That is HRT. You are replacing the amount of testosterone your body is normally producing with an additional amount of testosterone.
Yes. My friend in Wyoming is currently on testosterone. He is 31 years old.
Yeah.
His body needed more testosterone. He's now got it.
I think most people would be happier with some amount of HRT.
I think a lot of us are far imbalanced with our hormones.
Being transgender is just like a tremendous imbalance in the opposite direction of the way you would normally want it to be.
That's all it is. And it's not your business.
Literally.
It affects your life not at all.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And we already talked about this a little bit, FFS and FMS, facial feminization surgery, facial masculinization surgery, which you have already said is
reconstructive.
A reconstructive surgery to make your face look more like you want it.
Yes.
Cis people get these surgeries all the time.
Yeah, look at, what's the fucking loser that we all hate? Matt Rife.
Yeah, probably got a facial masculinization surgery. I feel like Elon Musk certainly
which is crazy because like you spent that
surgery.
Kind of money on gender-affirming care and you look like that.
Yeah, we know Laura Loomer be getting those facial feminization surgeries.
I don't know that it was feminizing. She looks like the guy from Saw. That was my Halloween costume. I was Laura Loomer, but I just did Saw makeup. Same shit, right?
Yes, exactly. These are our terminologies. Are there any terms you feel like we should cover before I dive into autogynephilia?
I feel like we covered the basis of everything.
Yeah. Email us, ladyandthetranspodcast@gmail.com if there's a term we didn't cover that you really want us to cover.
1 to 5 business days, we got you.
I also feel like this next section, I'm probably going to release as its own little mini thing.
Yeah.
Because this shit is some crazy shit.
This shit is fucking insane.
This opened a crazy rabbit hole that I was not expecting to go down. Because I just wanted to look up where the word came from.
And the answer will shock you.
I found out where it came from.
Yep.
So the word is autogynephilia. If you have not heard that word, congratulations, you win the internet.
Yeah, must be nice.
If you have heard this term, you have probably almost certainly heard it in an offensive, transphobic context.
Some transphobe or TERF was probably saying it in a podcast.
The only people who use this term are transphobes and TERFs.
Yes.
Because it was invented by a transphobe and TERF.
Yes.
I mean,
and a pedophile. We'll get into that.
Yes. Autogynephilia is a word for a fetish that is experienced exclusively by AMAB people, assigned male at birth, from, the last where they achieve sexual arousal or gratification from imagining themselves as women. It is not real.
Yeah.
It's important to point that out at the start because I'm going to talk about it as though it is real in the purposes of explaining what it is.
What it is, yeah.
But it is not a real thing.
No. And it's stupid. And if you have common sense, you can determine that without the research that was done. But still.
Where it came from, there is an American-Canadian sexologist named Ray Blanchard. This man is also a member of the Human Biodiversity Institute, HBI, is this organization. He proposed the idea in the 1980s because he couldn't understand trans lesbians. It was literally an attempt because he had been working under another sociologist or sexologist who I think, did I even not write that guy's name down? I was going to write his name down because I thought he was a piece of shit, but it turned out that his mentor had been studying a lot of this stuff and trying to figure out like what's going on with trans people and what's going on with gay people and what's causing gay people, blah, blah, blah. And this guy's mentor did this study where he was trying to test whether or not you could change someone's sexuality. And so we had a bunch of gay men sign up to be a part of this study. Most of them had been discriminated against heavily in their lives, and they were hoping that they could have their sexuality changed. So they volunteered for this study where he basically would show them sexual images of men while giving them a serum or a drink that would make them feel physically sick. And then he would give them rewards like oxytocin, pleasure chemicals, whatever, while they were looking at sexual images of women. And he thought with enough time, basically making them feel sick, looking at what they were actually attracted to, and feel really, really good, looking at the thing that they weren't attracted to, he could, quote, fix or change their sexuality. The results at the end of this study: no one's sexuality changed.
Yeah, because conversion therapy doesn't work.
Yes. He was like, I did manage to get some of these men into relationships with women, but they seemed deeply unhappy. Many of them killed themselves.
Yeah.
And it at the end of the day, I think I've caused them more harm than good. Because now when they go to perform the sex that they want to do, they feel sick. And that's the only difference.
Yeah.
Is the thing that used to make them happy makes them sick, and the thing that used to make them unhappy still makes them unhappy.
Yeah.
So, oops,
Who
my
would've
bad.
thought?
So he basically turned against the whole ideology and became an LGBT rights advocate. Blanchard did not learn that lesson. This guy was so sure that this stuff was a problem because he's a part of the HBI, the Human Biodiversity Institute. Do you know what that is?
I do not.
You haven't heard of this before?
I have not.
I think most people haven't. Human Biodiversity Institute is an association of far-right scientists who believe in race theory and eugenics. Every member of this group believes in finding the genetic cause of all things so that they can weed it out of the population at large. Their larger mission is to find any genetic link for any genetic trait, and once they've categorized that into something that is easily digestible, they release it in a small packet as a, quote, red pill on the internet. The Institute's sole purpose is promoting fake genetic science to the red pillars on the internet to confuse the population and to fuel white supremacy. That is the sole purpose of this organization, is to find a way to take pseudoscientific ideas and make them seem scientifically plausible. So part of what he's trying to do in researching homosexuality, transgenderism, all of these types of things, his goal is to eradicate it. His goal is to find the cause of homosexuality so he can prevent homosexuality. either by gene editing or by having conversations with the parents a lot like, hey, so we've tested the fetus and it seems like you might have a gay kid. Would you like us to plant a different embryo instead? Would you like if he can
Elon
prove
Musk.
it, if he can find the cause, he can talk people out of having gay kids.
It's just insane how much of this ties back to the
White
Nazis,
supremacy, Nazi ideology?
Yeah,
it is.
misogyny, all of it. It's all interconnected. They think by getting rid of queer people first and then just controlling everything else after. It's just...
Yep.
I think it's okay if white people go extinct. I don't care if
I don't think it would be a problem.
I think it would be fine.
Or at least the people who have this ideology that defines, like, because I went down a fucking rabbit hole of the types of people that like really subscribe to race theory, and I dove down this whole rabbit hole about like the fact that 23andMe and all of those genetic testing sites were started by these people.
I'm so glad I never did one of those.
They are literally.
Are you serious?
They are literally gathering genetic data from the population, pretending that it's going to tell you about your heritage, and just compiling it so that they can release it as fake race science. And they've released all this information so that there's like a subgroup of people who can literally, they're using the data that they purchased from 23andMe. 23andMe said they're not selling it to people, but the white supremacists are able to purchase the data and they're able to see that they're, quote, 100% white. And they're defining what white means, and they're going through the genetic testing, and they're finding, oh, look, I'm 16% this and 84% this. That means I'm 0% black. That means, fuck yeah, 100% white.
You know what's insane about the white supremacy bullshit where they want it to be all white people? White genes are recessive genes.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
These are recessive genes.
Yeah.
Like, okay, all the white people that live in Arizona always have skin cancer and sunburns. Why? Because if you have paler skin, it's not built for the sun. Blue eyes. I had an ex that had blue eyes, and his eyes, he had to wear sunglasses when the sun was out because his eyes would hurt.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like, it's okay to be white, but also like to act like these are the
Like
the
you're
superior
superior.
genes, and you want to have
on
a planet
that you're actively heating up.
yeah, like you're destroying, and your genes are going to survive the aftermath of the, like, it's stupid.
It don't make no sense.
And it's all about like physical characteristics. Because there's no science to back this. It's narcissism. It's people that want people that look like them to exist because they're obsessed with themselves. It's insane.
There is
and it's
no
embarrassing.
genetic evidence at all for race.
No, they're just physical characteristics.
Yeah. And it is such a small fraction of physical characteristics that it doesn't make sense to... It would be like taking two different bananas and saying that they're a different species of banana. It's like, no, they're bananas. This one's a little bit longer than this one. That doesn't make it a different race of banana. That's insane.
It's stupid. Also, this is another thing. If you want to, like, I'm going to get non-politically correct about this real fast.
Okay.
So I am obsessed with cats, right? And for a little bit, I really wanted a Sphinx cat, like the hairless cats. And I like did a lot of research. So hairless cats, it is a recessive gene, right? It was a glitch in the system of cats. And they had a lot of interbreeding to keep hairless cats a breed because they thought it was cool. So most hairless cats are inbred. And they have a lot of health problems as a result. In order to keep recessive genes going, you end up with inbreeding, you end up with health problems.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not good to
That's
like
correct.
If you want to argue science and biology, like it's the opposite of what you think of you being superior.
Yeah.
If you're going to keep nothing but white people, you're just going to keep inbreeding people with recessive genes.
Yeah.
It
doesn't make any sense.
It's okay for white people to exist, but like to want to eradicate everyone else, you're just trying to kill the human race.
Literally. Yeah. Yeah.
Like-
no one's erasing whiteness. And like,
No.
there's no reason to fight to keep it around, because if whiteness does disappear, it just means all the white people fell in love with people of color. And what the fuck is
and
wrong
who
with that?
fucking
I think
cares?
everyone needs a little more melanin. And,
I
you
think,
know,
yeah, I think that's fine. And also, it doesn't matter.
we're gonna keep heating up the planet. It's gonna have to happen.
That's
You
what I'm
know,
saying.
like, let's fucking go.
And every time we start progressing and then we regress because of people like this, it's just setting us back for what? It's not going to work. You can't get rid of queer people. There will always be queer
They'll keep
people. It
coming
doesn't
back.
matter what race of people are still
You-
around.
You nearly killed all the queer people in the 1980s, but look, they're all back.
They're all fucking back.
Because it's almost like it's a naturally occurring
It is a
fucking
thing that happens in nature.
And even with 0 people grooming them to be gay, a whole lot of fucking people
And I guarantee
turned out to be gay.
if you were to get rid of every other race except white people based on whatever is going on in nature and the climate, you would start growing certain characteristics to survive certain climates. It's all going to go back. It's nature.
Yes.
These are a bunch of
They're
narcissists trying to fight nature.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like, these are the people who are leading institutions. This guy was put in charge of the fucking DSM committee. Like, he chose what disorders to put into the DSM. He's the reason autogynephilia was added to the DSM.
I'm so glad there are so many women going into psychology. It's a very common study for women to go into, because I feel like a lot of the reason we're so behind on understanding psychology is because a bunch of dumb narcissistic men are involved in it.
The entire field of psychology was founded by and led by Nazis from the beginning. Even today, most of the people in the highest positions that are deciding which studies to publish and which studies to throw under the rug are still Nazis.
Yes.
They don't call themselves that anymore.
Yeah. They get mad if you call them
Now
that
they call themselves member of the Human Biodiversity Institute.
or MAGA.
Or MAGA or whatever. Yeah. But like, these are the people that are being cited when people are like, do you have a citation for that weird fucking bullshit you just said? They'll go to the Human Biodiversity Institute. That's the other purpose for them existing, is because they have accredited, like, respected psychologists and doctors publishing articles that are full of fake science that people can use as a citation to be like, there, it's real. And AI can't tell the fucking difference.
Yeah.
AI thinks it's real because it's on a website.
Yeah. So this is the other thing. People don't know how to use their common sense. Because what you're about to read to us, if you use your common sense and critical thinking skills, you'll understand this is bullshit.
It takes you 5 seconds to think your way out of this
If
bag.
you look at any study that's bullshit, if you have any common sense,
Literally.
I don't consider myself to be that intelligent of a person in comparison to like our smartest people. I don't. You were telling me about this stuff and the studies, and I'm like, yeah, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
At face value, this is bullshit.
Because it's fucking obvious bullshit.
Yeah, it's like a joke, actually. It's laughable.
So, in the 1950s, clinicians were attempting to classify the different types of transness they were seeing, and they settled on 2 categories. These are going to be offensive.
Okay.
Category 1 is homosexual transsexuals. Those are trans women who are attracted to men. I'm like I said, it's going to be offensive.
So straight women that just are trans,
Correct.
and they
said they're homosexual.
and we're making it complicated with our fucking
Correct.
labels and terms. Okay.
So that's one type. The other type is heterosexual fetishistic transvestites.
Of course they made it a
Heterosexual fetishistic transvestites.
so trans lesbians.
Correct. But they didn't believe that was a thing.
Of course
They
not.
simply refused to believe that it
Men
was a
don't
thing.
believe lesbians are a thing in general. You could be a
That's
cis
exactly.
lesbian and men are like, you haven't fucked me yet. Like, okay, your wife doesn't even fuck you, Bob. Shut the
think
fuck
that's
up.
a big part of why they couldn't figure out how to classify this shit in the, again, 1950s.
It's like, you must be a man if you're attracted to women, but you dress like this and it must be a sexual thing.
Yeah. Notably, trans men are completely ignored in these categories.
Typical.
And trans women's opinions were ignored because they said these labels don't make sense.
Yeah. It's stupid. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense. It's confusing.
Yeah, basically because these dudes couldn't personally relate, they decided it must be a fetish.
Yeah, well, trans women are women. Of course you can't fucking relate.
Yes.
You're a dude.
So, Blanchard began conducting studies to attempt to prove this theory that autogynephilia is, as we said, a fetish where biological males achieve sexual arousal and gratification by imagining themselves as women. So his study has a lot of fucking issues, such as the fact that it does not define terms. It relies on assumptions. It threw out all data that disagreed with his opinion, and it failed to have a control group. Basically, it's just junk science all the way down.
Yeah.
Here's what the study was. It's really in-depth and complicated, so take your time trying to understand this one, you know?
Collect myself, I got it.
So he separated trans women into 4 groups. Group 1, attracted to men. Group 2, attracted to women. Group 3, bisexual. Group 4, asexual. So he's got these 4 groups of trans women. There's no cis women in the study. There's also no men in the study. He then asks them, have you ever been aroused while dressing in women's clothes? In the attracted to men group, 15% of them said yes. In all of the other 3 groups
That he bunched together.
the attracted to women, the bisexual, and the asexual, 73% said yes. I have been sexually aroused while in women's clothing. That is the whole study.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the study.
Yeah. So about the percentage of each section, because if 3 of the 4 parts are 73% of them saying yes.
Yeah. Which also means 27% of them said no.
Yeah. So like, what does it say about them?
And he just ignored those 27%.
Yeah. And
He
was like,
just
I'm on to something.
Yeah. He was just well, more of them got aroused, so that must be their primary motivation in wanting to transition.
I think he did not get the percentage response he wanted, having them in individual groups, and just bunched those 3 together and was like, see, they're freaks, they're pervs.
Almost certainly. Yeah. His conclusion, based exclusively on this study, is that sexual arousal was their primary motivation in transitioning. He didn't ask them what their primary motivation was in transitioning.
No.
He just asked them, have you ever been sexually aroused
while wearing women's clothing?
in women's clothing? And if they said yes, he was like, well, that must be your whole reason for doing this, huh? Because that's the only reason I would ever do something is if I was aroused by it.
Based on that logic, I'm also a fetishist. Is that the word, fetishist?
A heterosexual fetishistic transvestite?
Yeah. Because I've been aroused wearing women's clothing.
No,
so
it would technically just mean that you have autogynephilia.
Yeah, that would mean that I also have it.
Yeah.
What does that prove?
So
I can't believe people that have gone to college fucking cite this.
I know.
As a gotcha.
I know. I think they didn't look at the study, is what I think.
I'm going to let you get through the whole thing.
Thank
and then
you.
I have
Thank you.
I have notes.
I've got a lot more.
Okay.
So he also concluded, so there's that 27% that did not experience sexual arousal.
Okay.
His conclusion about them was that they were also autogynephilic, but they were trying to hide it so that they could be more socially acceptable.
What?
He was like, I think they just lied to me.
And isn't the idea of autogynephilia about attraction to women?
No, it's about attraction to yourself as a woman.
Okay.
It's about specifically receiving sexual gratification by imagining yourself as a woman.
Okay, I'm just going to interject with this one thing.
Okay.
There is this sex researcher that went on the Joe Rogan podcast. I'm not going to say her name because fuck this bitch. She's a dumb fucking bitch. I can't believe she gets on any platforms.
Yeah.
She went on a little rant about autogynephilia, however you fucking say it, and was like, yeah, so like for trans women that are lesbians, the reason they transition is they are just so attracted to women that they want to become one, so they want to transition. And I remember her saying it. She like pitched it basically like that. And I'm listening to this, and this was back before I was even really politically involved in anything. And I still had a few little like opinions that were like mildly transphobic just based on misinformation at the time, right? And I remember hearing her say that, and I was like, that's what being a lesbian is. That's what being gay is. Or like you could argue the same thing about being straight, but in revert. Like when I want to fuck a bitch, it's because I like that we have the same shit going on. Like that's what it. And if I go to bang a dude, I like that we have the opposite shit going on. Like that's what that is for me.
Yeah.
You know?
She just defined lesbianism.
Yeah. And you're like making it out to be like
it
some
must
sort
be
of
a
fetish that
fetish.
trans women specifically even in my dumbest state when I wasn't involved in this topic at all, I was like, this sounds kind of like pseudoscience.
The TERFs love this study because the TERFs already believe that trans people are just fetishists
Yeah.
who are trying to sneak into women's bathrooms and like prey on people, or they're trying to like get off being naked in the women's locker room or whatever. Like they think it's purely a sexual thing. And this theory fully legitimizes that idea as realistic, even though it's not real. It's based on nothing. It's based on because we did some follow-up studies, such as, you're gonna love this, Larry Nutbrock's.
Who the fuck named these people? Jesus. Nutbrox?
Larry Nutbrock is his name.
It's singular, not plural. Okay.
Larry Nutbrock's study.
Oh, it is plural. Okay.
No, it's Larry Nutbrock, and it's his study.
Okay.
It's Larry Nutbrock's study.
The name's wild no matter what, but like, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Larry Nutbrock's study said that he was finding that autogynephilic tendencies were specific to boomers. It was a generationally locked phenomenon, and that it might be more due to cultural fears of fears of femininity than to anything regarding
Also the church.
the church. So it might have more to do with
when people
whatever
are
the
more
fuck was in
religious,
the water for boomers.
They turn everything. Religious people, they have the joke about like Catholic girls are freakier. It's because when you're suppressing your sexuality, it becomes more fetishy and like,
Correct.
You know, because
Correct.
it's a thing, it's a taboo thing. So it like turns into this thing.
Correct.
But also even the ratio, like the groups that, because he separated the bisexuals, lesbians, and the asexuals into
Correct.
one big fucking group.
Yes. Have you ever been sexually aroused while wearing women's clothing? That's
Yeah.
like
Ask any cis woman.
that's like any time I've had sex. The answer is yes, because I'm
Yeah.
wearing women's clothing before I have sex, and then
Yeah.
I get aroused, and then I take them off so
Ask
that I
any
can have
cis
sex.
woman the same fucking thing.
So that's the other thing. This is a different guy's study. Charles Allen Mosier did a study that said if this phenomenon is true, 93% of cis women have autogynephilia.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
93% higher than either of the groups of trans women.
And also, why aren't we talking about the trans men?
Why aren't we talking about the trans
I
men?
feel like the trans men probably have more fetishy shit going on that don't have to do with them being trans, but they're men. Men
Yeah.
are sluts.
I bet cis men.
Men are sluts.
I bet cis men,
cis men are
and
all-
trans men would. I bet if you interviewed the whole population, you'd be like, it turns out everybody has this.
Yeah.
It turns out if you wear lingerie, you might be aroused.
Yeah.
Like, because they didn't specify what type of women's clothing either.
Yeah.
They literally just said, have you ever been aroused in any type of women's clothing?
You can be wearing any type of clothing and get aroused. It has nothing to do with the clothing.
That's correct. I've been aroused in a lot of clothing that was not clothing that would make me aroused.
Yeah, same. I've been aroused dressed like a homeless guy before.
Yeah.
I
Sometimes
promise you it wasn't the outfit.
Sometimes it's just the way the fabric is bunching up, you know? It's
Yeah.
could be any fucking reason.
Most of the time it has nothing to do with what you're wearing.
Situational- Exactly. Most of the time it has nothing to do. Charles Allen Mosier's other study says even if this phenomenon exists, it says absolutely nothing about the motivation of the people behind it. It literally is just a thing.
It's stupid.
It's a completely useless metric that says nothing about anything. Yeah.
And also, why didn't they do one for trans guys?
Because this guy didn't believe trans guys were a thing.
Yeah. No, a lot of this transphobia shit, it's believing trans women are men and trans men are women. And so because they're believing trans men are women, they just exclude them out of the thing. Because they want to point the finger at this other group that they see as men as like, these are the bad men. It's like, they're women. What are you fucking talking about?
So here's the thing. His entire belief system boils down to, again, this Nazi ideology, right? This genetic manipulation, eugenics bullshit.
Yeah.
So, the reason he's not studying trans men is because trans men can still get pregnant, which means they fulfill his purpose for what a female-bodied person is supposed to be.
Oh,
Trans
bitch, you're
women
cannot.
Trans women
So
are
it's a woman
breaking,
they deem as useless.
right.
Because women are only useful if they can birth
Correct.
more fucking shitty white
And
babies.
for some reason, they feel this need to make sure that every baby that is born fits into their little worldview and their little ideology. His whole motivation is to prevent gay people from being born, to prevent trans women from being born. He doesn't care about trans men at all. He's like, whatever, that's fine. They can exist.
And if
I
they
guess.
if they make it so it's not okay for trans people to come out, if they demonize trans women coming out enough, with trans men, it's like, even if you kind of try to come out, we can still put you in a situation where you're having a kid that you don't want.
Right.
And as long as you're white, we're cool with it.
Yeah. So while he's
Oh my God,
So
bitch.
while he's doing all these studies, he's also doing separate studies on the birth order effect.
Which blew my mind. Let's go.
The birth order, this is something you've mentioned in several
have.
episodes of this podcast.
I have, 'cause
and
I-
every time you mention it, I'm always like, I'm going to look into that. I've never heard of that. Maybe I've seen some anecdotal evidence for it. I'd be curious. Sure.
Yeah.
You know? Go ahead and say what the theory is that you have heard.
The theory is if you are born to a family, you're AMAB, you are the youngest son, or like closer to the younger son. The theory is your mother would give off more estrogen in the womb if you're the younger one, basically. If you are the oldest daughter, you would be more likely to have higher levels of testosterone on, like, you know, not every time, but like just based on order of birth. Because if your mother birthed, like, if your mother had 4 sons and then you were AMAB, you were born, all of her testosterone in the womb would have gone to the boys, and then it would just like give off more estrogen.
So that whole thing, there is zero
Science to back it up.
scientific evidence to support any of that.
It's crazy too, because my
They've
sister.
done many studies trying to prove that. This man led all of them.
And it wasn't to help us understand or try to be accepting. It was so they could try to determine a genetic thing that they could determine
to try to
so they could prevent them from being born.
gay people and trans people from being
Which
born.
kind of makes me angry because my sister used to be homophobic, right?
Yeah.
And I got sent away when I was 15. When I came back when I was 18 and I reconnected with my sister had gotten really heavy into like Christian religious bullshit because she didn't have me, didn't have friends. And my parents aren't religious, but you know, that was the way my sister like tried to find community, was getting kind of religious. So she got homophobic. And I remember there was one night we got in a big fight about it because she just didn't want to believe that I am gay. And I showed her, I don't know what the documentary was, but I showed her this documentary that was going over like, hey, like gay people get treated like shit and it's stupid and this is why. And like, also, they also incorporated this fucking pseudoscience to try to, this is another thing I've started to realize lately. I do a lot of arguing online on trans people's behalf, trying to be like, because there is some scientific shit to back it up. Like if you go on HRT, for example, if you're a trans woman and you're on estrogen, you know, like just biologically speaking, physically, like you're a woman, you know, even just like on that level. But I'm always trying to like show physical proof of it, like, because people want that like tangible evidence to believe it. But I'm kind of at a place where I'm just like, I kind of don't even care to argue that, because at the end of the day, people are just existing, being themselves.
Yeah.
And like, if you look at stats, trans women aren't harming anybody. Men fucking are. If you really want to like change women being like harmed, maybe let's go after men being pieces of shit. Why don't we focus on that?
Makes a lot of sense.
And also
to me.
trans women are usually the ones getting the worst of that.
It's true.
I'm kind of at a place where it's like, do I even care to argue all of this shit with people? Because it sounds like even some of the talking points I've had aren't even real, that I thought were in support of us.
No. So the reason he was trying to prove this is because if it's true that the younger son is more likely to be gay, because this is where Elon Musk comes back up into this. So Elon Musk has fully bought into this, right?
Uh-huh.
So Elon Musk is trying to have his sons by different mothers, and he's trying to make sure that it's a firstborn son, no daughters, firstborn son, only born to mothers who have never had a child before. Because he's trying to ensure the highest probability that they will be straight, cis boys.
I didn't realize that was the pattern.
Yes. He is choosing women who have not had kids and saying, you can have one of my sons.
I always look at the bitches that have kids with him and I like judge them heavy because I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You dumb bitch.
And he's going through the whole in vitro thing.
Well, joke's on him. He's still got a daughter and she's better than anybody in his bloodline. And God bless Vivian.
Like Vivian literally is just like a slap in the face to this whole fucking theory.
I love it.
It's just like, I don't care about this, what you science bullshit you believe.
Yeah.
I exist and I am this way and it is what it is. And I'm sorry, but you can go through all the fucking genes the way you think in your in vitro bullshit and you can't control for nature. You cannot control for every variation in nature.
No.
It's not possible.
And it's also fucking seek help if you're trying to do that. You are playing God. That's insane.
I know.
Like,
but here's the other very frustrating part. This man has done something to the order of 40 different studies trying to prove this.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And he has done the math in such a way, in the way that he organizes the studies, he does the math to where at the end of the study, he goes, and as you can see, it's true. In all of the studies, he has, quote, proven that the birth order effect is real. So what I did is I read a meta-study of all of his studies, where this group of researchers got together and they went through all the data and they questioned his assumptions and they reanalyzed the data from every possible angle they could. And what they found is that, in fact, what he was seeing was no better than randomness. That, in fact, if you control for, rather than only counting older brothers, if you count older siblings, there's literally no data that aligns. They're like, maybe sometimes there's like a 1% difference, but also when you're looking at sample sizes this small, when you have a 1% difference, usually what we do is ignore that.
Yeah.
Like, it's statistically insignificant. There is no way to do a 95% confidence interval for any of these studies. So what we can conclude based on this is, if this birth order effect is real, there is currently no evidence for it, and the current evidence that does exist is insufficient to prove anything. But because there are 40 studies that all come to the conclusion birth order effect is real, and there is one study saying those 40 studies are lying, every reputable science magazine and every AI engine will tell you birth order effect is real. There are, in fact, 40 studies backing up the fact that it is real. Ignore the fact that all 40 of those studies were done by the same guy. Ignore the fact that all of those studies were done with a goal of finding a specific result. And ignore the fact that if you actually look at those numbers in a slightly different way, it's all bullshit. But it's very easy to say there's a lot of evidence for this. There's a lot of evidence. If you don't think critically and if you just accept what one fucking Nazi said, birth order effect is real. Autogynephilia is real. Trans people are fetishists.
My question is, what are we going to do about these fucking people? Because, like, a lot of the, like, older generation, like the Autogynephilia guy, he's 80 years old. He's going to die soon, and good fucking riddance.
But
What?
at this point, he's packaged his ideas
Yeah.
into so many red pills on the internet. He literally taught Stephen Miller.
This is the thing, though. Anyone associated with Trump has lost credibility. I'm not worried about that. I am worried about the fact that they have all of the money and power right now. And it's like, what are we going to do to dismantle the systems they're trying to put in place? Because we're going to live in a surveillance state. Like, what are we going to do to stop it?
I mean, that's a great question that I don't think we're going to answer on this podcast. I think right now what we do is continue to spread the truth and hope that it spreads to a place where there is a consciousness that is so large against them that there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
I think that is our only tack. I think that's it.
Like, Elon's trying to do the fucking shit where they put a chip in your brain or whatever. And like,
Anyone who wants to trust an Elon Musk chip in their brain,
they're stupid and
Do
they can
it.
fuck off. Yeah, do
please
it.
do it.
Have fun with that. You
want
fucking
you to do
loser.
it. You
Do
are
it.
going to get brain cancer, and Elon Musk is going to detonate you.
Yeah.
Do it. I
Do it.
want you to do it.
But what I'm saying is I think there's enough people aware that that's a fucking horseshit.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that. Obviously, people are waking up to the Trump and conservative bullshit. It's just like, where are we going from here?
This is an extinction burst. I don't know
is.
how it's going to fall, but this is an extinction burst.
Yeah.
Whenever an ideology is about to die, it gets stronger in a really short amount of time before it just disappears.
Somebody described the extinction burst, excuse me, Ew. as when you're at the grocery store and you're going to check out and you're using your card.
Yeah.
Swipe your card, doesn't work. Swipe it again, declined. You get a text from your bank. You know your card's not going to work. And out of anger, you just keep swiping till you eventually give up because it's not going to work. That's what we're experiencing. That's the extinction burst. It's them trying to bring it back to the 1950s or wherever the fuck we were before and get it as far back in time as they can. But
There's
it's
better
it's,
examples than that, but yeah, it's
it
not
was
bad.
it was a pretty good simple way of breaking
simple-
down what's
yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
You know,
For sure. It's all just racist. It's white supremacy. It's patriarchy. It's bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's colonization. It's evil people trying to control the shape of the world, and nature does not abide.
yeah.
And we are going to continue to fractal out in a million directions. And at this point, like, it's like whack-a-mole. They're just trying to whack all the moles that they don't like, but there's too many. Can you imagine Ray Blanchard or any of his predecessors hearing the term gender fuck
Literally.
and trying to conduct a study to prove that it doesn't exist?
Literally.
Good
And what a joke.
luck. You 80-year-old fuck who has devoted your entire life to proving trans lesbians aren't real, only to find that not only are we real and not going anywhere, but your entire ideology is horseshit.
This is the other thing. You said this guy also does a lot of studies in pedophilia, correct?
This man invented the terms pedophilia, hebephilia,
Oh, God.
and tritanophilia. There's a third one. I didn't write anything down because I feel like one day there's going to be a time to just dive into this fucking guy and like do a whole episode. And I was like, I need
It's
to
a
stop.
can of worms, yeah.
I need to stop because
Otherwise, yeah.
this is going to be a 45-hour episode, and it's supposed to be our trans terminology explainer.
I am convinced a lot of these people are also pedophiles. Look at the Epstein files dropping.
Yes.
I remember seeing an interview with Epstein saying he believed in the future it would be very common for much older men to be with much younger women.
Yes.
He said that.
This
It's
man
a bunch of white
is
supremacists.
the reason the
pedophiles.
conservatives are talking about it wasn't pedophilia, it was hebephilia.
Why do you think they push Christianity on us? Because it's like, well, women are supposed to be quiet and get married off when you're 10 years old and just shut up and do whatever your fucking rapist abuser says that you're married to against your will. Like,
Yes.
all of it's just pedophiles
Yes.
running everything.
Correct. The world is run by pedophiles. And something needs to happen to them.
Yes.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
I'm not saying.
We need a
I'm not
Luigi.
saying.
We
somebody
need a
should-
Mario.
Somebody should do it. But if I'm not.
We need one of those crazy white guys.
Not. You can feel free to shout stuff from over there. Laura's iPhone storage is full.
Yeah.
She's been storing too much shit.
I'm storing all the shit. I got to handle that, but I'm not on camera.
So we're going to wrap this up with just me. Basically, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you learned a tremendous number of trans terminology words and also the horrifying truth about what the fuck these homophobic Nazis are actually up to.
Yeah.
And I hope that you've learned some small piece of information that you can use to fight against your very confused relatives or friends or whoever the fuck. Because I'm so tired of trying to argue these points based on junk science done by Nazis that people keep citing and quoting and pretending are real based on no possible reason at all. Yeah.
Yeah, pedophile Nazis run our world, and it always traces back to that.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yep. None of the Nazi pedophiles are trans or queer in any way. They're all
cis straight white
They all
men.
seem to be cis straight white dudes. So
Pretty common
just
theme.
Keep an eye out for that.
Like,
Send us
comment,
an
and
email.
comment, subscribe on YouTube.
Lady
Follow
and the
us
Trans.
on any audio platforms.
Follow us everywhere. Lady and the Trans Podcast at gmail.com if you want to send us an email. We're going to come back pretty soon. As soon as the Olympics start up, we are going to be talking about the history of women's sports because
Yes.
that feels relevant, especially
Yes.
because I don't know yet because it hasn't happened, but I feel very confident that people are going to be mad about trans people.
Yeah, I feel like that's a common
I
occurrence.
feel like people
the
are going
last
to
5
be
years.
mad about trans people at the Olympics. And I feel like it's going to be J.K. Rowling who's mad.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to talk about the history of women's sports and how basically gender testing and this whole world of hating trans people got incorporated into it in the first place. So, yeah, I'll see you in a few weeks. And bye.
Bye.
Lady and the Trans Podcast. Where we believe in science. We don't believe in God. Only science.